Greetings, Guardians of Dominion, Zeus here. And I'll say this right away, Chapter 6 is where the Asherona Event tests your patience, your planning, and your understanding of control mechanics. This is not about rushing, and it's definitely not about brute force. Today, I'm breaking down exactly how I cleared Chapter 6, what worked, what failed, and how you can approach this chapter with confidence. To unlock Chapter 6, you need 210 energy crystals, and so far, this was by far the hardest chapter for me in the entire Asherona event. I spent more than 5 hours testing different teams and approaches here. In the end, I published 3 team combinations that successfully cleared this chapter, and throughout this video I'll share key tips to help you feel more confident and consistent. Chapter 6 is extremely complicated, and there are 4 heroes that form the core of every successful team here: Iris, Arachne, Chaba, and Zeus. The 5th hero can vary, and I strongly encourage you to test different options. It doesn't have to be Polaris, and it doesn't have to be any specific hero, but these 4 are mandatory. Everything in this chapter revolves around control, survivability, and timing. Let's start from the beginning. From the development shop, I chose Chaba, Arachne, Iris, Zeus, and Polaris, and I committed to this lineup. Even with relatively weak heroes, this team can succeed, but only if you prioritize development correctly. Your main focus must be Arachne, Iris, and Zeus. Everything depends on how long Iris survives, how consistent Arachne's stuns are, and how well Zeus supports the team with healing and sustain. The first and second battles are the hardest, because your heroes are still underdeveloped. This is where many players fail early. You must make sure you already have all key heroes in your lineup before pushing forward, so they can start contributing immediately. Back to the development shop, I focused first on Arachne. I bought Chaba and Zeus, pinned Arachne, and proceeded to the next battle. The enemy team was Corvus, Tristan, Alvana, Morrigan, and Sebastian. Sebastian makes this fight especially tricky because he blocks control effects, which weakens Arachne's stuns. This is where Polaris becomes extremely important, because she helps break Sebastian's shield, allowing Arachne to start controlling the fight. These battles are long, slow, and controlled, and this one rewarded 60 style coins. Back to the development shop, I bought Zeus, pinned Arachne again, and moved on. The next enemy team was Aurora, Qingmao, Dante, Nebula, and Heidi. Heidi is the most dangerous hero here and the hardest to eliminate. Still, I managed to secure the win, earning another 60 style coins. Back to the shop, I bought the previously pinned Arachne and Zeus. After refreshing, Iris appeared and I bought her. One more refresh showed Chaba, but I was low on style coins, so I pinned him. Another refresh brought a Chaba whose pack, and this is very important. In Chapter 6, always buy hero packs when possible. If you break a pack by buying only one hero, the shop will stop offering that pairing as often. For example, if you buy only Chaba, Zeus will appear less frequently. So keep buying Chaba Zeus packs and avoid single cards whenever you can. I bought the Chaba Zeus pack, then Iris, then 2 more Chaba cards, and proceeded to the next battle. The enemy team was Galahad, Amira, Jorgen, Leanne, and Polaris. This is one of the hardest fights in Chapter 6. The team has huge resistance, Jorgen and Polaris control your energy, and Leanne constantly puts your team to sleep. Despite all of that, I managed to pull the win and earned 90 style coins. Back to the development shop, I prepared for the next fight. Martha appeared, but do not buy Martha here. Polaris is the better choice. Polaris applies negative effects that are far more useful later, especially for the boss fight. I pinned Polaris and Arachne and continued. The next enemy team was Corvus, Lyria, Arachne, Jorgen, and Polaris. Chapter 6 is all about control. If Iris dies, your chances of winning drop dramatically because enemy resistance is extremely high. As you can see, I lost this fight. Back to the development shop, I bought Arachne and Polaris, then I bought Oliver and another Polaris. At this stage, pets become critical. The two most important pets here are Oliver and Mara. If you buy Oliver, place him on Iris. If you buy Mara, place her on Arachne. This combination allows Arachne to stun for much longer while Iris stays alive under heavy pressure. Polaris further extends control duration, making the entire setup much more stable. With these adjustments, I won the next battle and earned 90 style coins. Back to the shop, preparing for the boss fight, I bought Arachne and Mara. I pinned Polaris. I only needed 2 levels, not 3. I also made a mistake here by not buying Albus earlier. You only need Iris. I bought Fenris for Zeus, Axel, and more Polaris, fully maxing Polaris. The final winning setup was Arachne with Mara, Zeus with Fenris, Iris with Oliver, Chaba without a pet, Polaris without a pet. Team pet, Oliver or Axel, depending on availability. This setup gave me the control, sustain, and survivability needed to finally clear Chapter 6. And that's how I cleared Chapter 6, Guardians. This chapter isn't about damage, it's about control, patience, and smart development. If you build around Iris, Arachne, Chaba, and Zeus, manage the shop correctly, and use pets like Oliver and Mara the right way, even the hardest fights become manageable. Now I want to hear from you. How did your Chapter 6 run go, and which team worked best for you? Share your experience in the comments. If this guide helped you, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next chapter or strategy breakdown. Stay calm, stay strategic, and keep dominating Dominion. Salute and friendship.